Welcome to I'm Your Target Demographic, and today we're outlining the 12 labors of Hercules from Greek mythology. Let me say that yes, some people prefer using Heracles, and some even pop a K in there. We're referring to the same person, but Hercules is the most popular term that you likely know now. So let's catch up on some Herculean history. Hercules is the son of Zeus, the king of the gods, and a mortal woman. Zeus had a wife named Hera, who was very jealous of Zeus's other lovers, so she even tried to kill Hercules as a baby, sending snakes to kill him in his crib, though he was able to strangle them in self-defense. Hera never got over this jealousy and continuously tried to ruin his life, even going as far as driving Hercules mad, where in a fit of rage and confusion he killed both his wife and his own children. How this happens differs as to what material you're using as a source. But when he regains his sanity, he asks the gods for forgiveness and asks how he can redeem himself. He's told to serve the king Eurystheus for 12 years, where the king gives him 12 near impossible tasks to complete. His first task is to defeat a lion that has been rampaging and killing locals in an area called Nemea, hereafter referred to as the Nemean Lion. Hercules tried to shoot arrows, but its fur was impenetrable. He eventually knocked the creature down with his mighty club and strangled it to death. He needed the hide as proof, but since it was impenetrable, he had to use the beast's own claws to cut the fur from the body, giving him a fur that he is often seen wearing in art and sculptures. Hera didn't like the idea of Hercules succeeding at these tasks, so she rose a creature in a nearby swamp, a Hydra, which initially appeared like a giant snake-like creature. As he fought the Hydra, he realized that each time he cut off the creature's head, 2 new heads would grow in its place, eventually resulting in a massive beast with many heads. He eventually discovered that he could burn the stumps to stop new heads from growing, though one of its heads was immortal, and he had to find a different way, so he crushed the head under a boulder to be hidden away forever. So let's talk for a second about King Eurystheus, who happened to be Hercules' cousin, and he was becoming quite upset that Hercules was conquering his challenges, which made him look like a fool. So if Hercules could kill every monster, let's figure out a monster he can't even catch. So Hercules was tasked with capturing the Ceryneian hind, a deer so fast that it could outrun arrows. Hercules chased it for an entire year. There's a few versions of how he captured it, some saying he managed to catch it sleeping, another that he was gifted the hind from the goddess Artemis. The fourth labor is another massive beast, this time the mighty Erymanthian boar, who Hercules managed to trap in a snowstorm and catch it that way. Eurystheus was terrified, and he hid inside a giant pithos like a large jar. He realized this was a great place to hide and would later resort to hiding here as to not hear the success stories that Hercules would bring back. For the fifth labor, they had to find something impossible to do, so they assigned Hercules to clean the stables of King Augeas. These animals were immortal and healthy, so the amount of excrement was immense, with over 1,000 cattle and 30 years without being cleaned. Hercules smartly noticed 2 nearby rivers that he could reroute to flood the area and wash the entire stables. King Eurystheus was upset and discounted this labor, as Hercules wasn't originally supposed to do 12, he was supposed to do 10. If Hercules could defeat one monster, what about a whole flock? For labor number 6, he was charged with eliminating the Stymphalian birds, large man-eating birds with metallic wings. They'd taken over an entire countryside and were murdering the local townspeople. They lived in a swamp that Hercules couldn't venture into, so instead he scared them from the trees and he shot them down with arrows, killing enough that they would fly away and never return. Labor number 7 was to capture the Cretan bull, a large bull terrifying the island of Crete. He strangled it, stopped just short of killing it, and then shipped it back to King Eurystheus alive. He wanted to sacrifice it to Hera, but she declined because killing it would honor the fact that Hercules caught it. It was released again into the wild. The 8th labor was to calm and capture a group of horses known as the Mayors of Diomedes. Diomedes was a king of Thrace, who taught these horses to eat human flesh, and it drove them insane. So these horses were incredibly dangerous. Again, there's several stories, most of which end with Hercules feeding the king to his own horses, which calmed them long enough for Hercules to strap their mouths shut and then bring them to Eurystheus. Now at this point, Eurystheus was running low on ideas. Hercules was accomplishing every task he gave him. So when his own daughter came forward and said that she wanted the belt of Hippolyta, the queen of the Amazons, Eurystheus saw this as a perfect chance to have Hercules try to get it for her. So Hercules sailed to Themyscira, the land of the Amazons, and befriended Hippolyta. She liked him and she believed him, so she was going to give him the belt. However, all this time, Hera has been whispering in the ears of the other Amazons who thought Hercules was coming to kidnap the queen. When Hercules saw them rushing towards him, he thought it was an ambush, so he killed the queen, took her belt, and gifted it to the daughter of Eurystheus. What else could Eurystheus conjure up? How about the giant beast Geryon, a fabled monster with 3 heads? This beast had a fleet of cattle, and Hercules was tasked with stealing these cattle from him. All it took was 1 arrow, dipped in the poisonous blood from the Hydra that he killed long ago, and Geryon was downed. Hera tried everything in her power to stop the cattle, such as sicking flies on them and downpouring rain, so it took Hercules a full year, but he eventually got them to Eurystheus. Who else could Hercules steal from? Eurystheus decided to task Hercules with finding a place no mortal has ever gone, the Garden of Hesperides, to steal apples from the nymphs that lived there. No one should be able to accomplish this. Well, Hercules eventually found the garden and discovered Atlas there, who held the heavens on his shoulders. Atlas was actually related to these nymphs, so it'd be easy for him to get the apples. So Hercules agreed to hold the heavens while Atlas got the apples. Well, Atlas wasn't about to go back to holding the heavens for eternity, so he wanted to take them himself to Eurystheus. Hercules saw a chance, and he said he'd agree to hold the heavens forever in Atlas's place. He just had to readjust his lion cloak to be comfortable. So Atlas took the heavens back for just a moment, but Hercules grabbed the apples and left him there. Is there anything Hercules can't do? For his last labor, Hercules was asked to capture and bring the 3-headed dog Cerberus to the king. Cerberus is the guardian to the underworld, keeping the dead there. Hades, who controls the underworld, told Hercules that he could take him, as long as Hercules was able to subdue Cerberus without weapons. Hercules did just that, slinging the dog over his back and bringing him to Eurystheus, who hid again inside his giant jar. Eurystheus, in fear, said that Hercules was finished serving him and his labors were completed. Now there are many other adventures of Hercules that take place before and after these labors, but that's not really what we're covering. If these tales of mythology interest you and you want to see more stuff like this, let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.
Oh, he's a little Hercules. Show me muscle again. Oh, Hercules, 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 Hercules.